Coach, we talked a little bit earlier, just talk about the excitement here in Kansas City so far and what this has been like for you guys.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting. I think that what we're realizing is the stage that we're going to be playing on when the conference starts. And everything is going well, it's organized, and the girls are having a lot of fun, which is always the most important thing.
You have them take a look around and say, we're going to be back here in March, and we're going to be here a few days, and things like that, because you want to stay more than one day.
Oh, absolutely. I think being here, it means something. I think it's brilliant to do Media Day here when we know that the season is also going to end here. We're just excited for the opportunity, but we know that we have a lot of work to do before that championship gets started.
Overall thoughts?
What are some of the biggest intangibles when taking over a new program and helping build that program up?
I think it's important to fall in love with the journey and the process and not expect things to go well immediately. We have relationships to build, we have systems to put in, we have things that are important to us, and getting the young people, your players, to buy in is the single most important thing, and that's up to my staff and myself to make sure that happens.
Overall thoughts on this offseason, obviously 3 weeks away from first home matchup versus nationally ranked Louisville. Just talk about what this offseason has been like for you guys.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hard work. Our strength and conditioning coach has done an amazing job. I think that our kids are in shape and they're strong and they're ready to compete. We're looking forward to that opener. Obviously, Louisville is very stiff competition. It's one of the only teams in the country that's been in Elite 8 for the last 5 years. And what Jeff Walls and his staff does is amazing, and it's going to be a great measuring stick for all the work that we've done up until then to see what else we need to get better at and some things that we're doing well.
Jillian's done a little bit of everything for you. Can she get better? I mean, she's pretty good as it is.
Oh, absolutely. Credit to all the work that she's put up until now. I think that she has an ability to get a perimeter shot that's far more consistent, and that's what we're looking to do. We know she can finish with contact. We know how comfortable she is around the rim. We want to just continue to extend her game out.
Speaking of Jillian, she talked about what you mean to her and her decision to stay here despite the coaching change. Just talk about what that means as a current alumni for this program.
Well, it means everything. I think that no matter what we say, this feels different. I don't think that it's more pressure, but it is a different type of pressure. And I think her and I can connect and relate on that point in the way that she wants to do her city proud as well as the university. And I feel the same way. And so our connection is without a doubt that we're going to put our best foot forward because we know that this is bigger than us individually. It's even bigger than our team. It's a statement that we're making for the city of Cincinnati.
What are some of the big challenges of leading a program from the group of guys to the power side? What's different? What is expanded?
Well, I think it's just the level of competition night in and night out. Right, it's one thing to play a Power 5 team one time a season, 2 times a season, but then to turn around and have to do it 18 times. I think what our biggest obstacles is going to be our durability, our ability to play a game and then a few days later turn around and play equal and or greater competition than the last game, only knowing that there's a few days before you have to do it all over again. And to me, that's the biggest adjustment, is playing high level of competition night in, night out.
Maya said earlier her biggest focus this offseason has been the leadership aspect. Just talk about what you've seen from the leaders of this team, girls like Jillian, Maya, Braylon. Just talk about that leadership role for this team a little bit. We
couldn't be in the position that we're in right now where we're as confident as we are without the leadership of those 3 in particular. And kudos to the entire 7 returners for stepping up and making sure they're being the example for these newcomers. Our newcomers and our freshmen, they're all being extremely coachable and they're able to peer govern. They are having conversations and being an extension of us when they're in the locker room and when they're in their apartments. And I think that without that buy-in, without them being able to see the importance of everybody being on the same page, then we would be very far behind. And fortunately, that's not the case.
Maya, from Seton Hall in the Big East, does that help coming into this league? And I kind of got on Brett Yormark earlier on, the debate on which is better. Obviously, I would think you would side with the Big 12, but I mean, it helps that she's played in a big league before.
No, absolutely. I think what that does is it gives her confidence, and then that confidence then spreads to our team because she's played high-level basketball before. And I think it's important to note that when we prepare non-conference schedules, a lot of these kids have played against UConn. They have played against some very tough Power 5 opponents in the non-conference. So this will not be any of our first times. Again, what it will be different is playing those teams night in, night out. Right? There's no letdown. There is no, oh, we're playing this team, we have a good chance to win. It's going to be a battle every single game.
This event Sunday, I think people are coming out at 2 o'clock, right? I mean, that's a chance to meet the team a bit. I don't know how much of that you guys have done in the past, but it seems like a good idea.
So we've had ideas to do open practices before, but in true Bearcat fashion, open practices turned into the Fan Fest. And I think that it's going to be a lot of fun for people to come out and see our team, but also to interact. We want to get the community engaged and involved in what we're doing. We want people to want to come and connect with our student athletes so that when they are playing the game, they can identify with them. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity.
You talk about the importance of getting the community involved. How important is it to have an event like FanFest this weekend as you guys make this transition to the Big 12?
Yeah, I think it's important because I think that people need to see how hard they work. I think people need to see the energy. I think people need to see how we're stepping up and doing everything we can to be able to compete on the big stage.
How's it help Jillian to have big brothers, particularly one in the NBA and the other two, they're not small by any means anymore because they've grown up, and then mom was a pretty good shot, and dad was an NFL tight end, so this is a girl that knows competition.
No, for sure, and I think that Jill's tough, and I've seen players be tough without the pedigree that she has, so I think that it speaks volumes for her to be able to be who she is, because it would have been really easy for Jill to be not as aggressive, not as tough, because she had so many people around her who were. But instead, she embodies everything that they are, and then she puts it out there on the floor.
Just curious what your thoughts were. Iowa State lost a ton last year, but they were still picked to finish 6th in the Big 12, I guess. What kind of stems from that? And what's that say about Iowa State?
That says everything about Coach. You know, I was fortunate enough to compete against Iowa State when I was the head coach at Wright State. And I think things that I've learned as a coach is the people that you compete against and play. Of course, your team is challenged, but you're challenged and you're stressed as a coach too. There's an amazing environment at Iowa State. It's a tough place to play, and Coach Bill has been doing it for so long. There isn't anything he hasn't seen. So to me, it's just a matter of respect. You know, we know what he's capable of, regardless of who's on the team.
On a similar note, Coach Mitty thinks this might be one of the best K-State programs he's coached.
Yes.
What thoughts do you have on the Wildcats
Yeah,
this year?
same. I think when I took the job, I was fully aware of the competition from sideline as well as on the court, and I'm excited for that because I think it's going to stretch me and my staff considerably. Coach Mitty's done a great job. I know a couple of his assistants even, and I know that they work hard at recruiting, so they're constantly going to grow and replace, and you know, that's what I mean about night in, night out. This is going to be a battle.
That's your Big 12 opener, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So fans better strap it in.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I would show up for every game. And I think that that's what we're talking about from a platform standpoint. Right? Everyone should feel that every game you come to Fifth Third Arena to see, and you're going to get your money's worth because there's going to be high-level basketball and high-level competition.
You mentioned the 7 newcomers a little bit ago. Has there been any one of those 7 that have really stood out to you and made the biggest jump this offseason?
Yeah, I think Destiny Thomas. We were hoping that Destiny would come in and establish herself in the post, and she has done that. She, again, is tougher, stronger, faster than she was a year ago. Some of that has to do with age, some of that has to do with her teammates, and a lot of it has to do with Coach Hong, our strength and conditioning coach. So I think we're just in a position where we've got people who are accepting and embracing their roles, and will do anything for this team to reach its potential.
Destiny was someone you recruited to Memphis originally. What was the biggest focus for her this offseason, making that jump to her sophomore season?
It really is just being and staying healthy. I think our taller players that have a lot of girth and strength, you get feet, you get ankles and knees and joint stuff, and she has been very disciplined in making sure she stays in the training room and doing everything that she can to keep her body ready for the physicality that's going to be the Big 12.
You talked a little bit about this on the stage, but what are some of the pressures and positives associated with coming home and coaching at your alma mater?
Yeah, the pressures are not greater, but they are different. You know, I've got my teammates and former coaches and people like that are rooting and cheering and locked in and focused and sending me text messages that are very encouraging, but also a tad bit urgent with, are we going to get going? How long is it going to take? And is this player ready? Are you ready? So it's different, but at the same time, it's a blessing. I'm extremely fortunate. Never in a million years did I know that the position would be open and I would be qualified at the time that it came open. Because it did 5 years ago, and I had been a head coach for 2 years and hadn't really done anything yet. So who knew, that the timing would match up the way that it did. So I'm incredibly thankful for all the work all the previous coaches and players have done before me and all of us, so that it could be in a position to be in the Big 12 today.
You have to guard against saying, this is how we did it in my day, or this is how coach used to do it, or kind of let this year's team be this year's team.
Yeah, I don't think they want to hear that. And to be honest, I think the game has evolved so much in the last 20 years. I think that the notoriety has increased significantly in the last 25 years. So again, thankful for my experience, but I don't know how relevant it is to theirs, but I know being a Bearcat means that we have to be tough and gritty and determined to compete and do everything we can to represent who we are and what it means to the community.
What are some major changes that you see in today's game than what it used to be? How is it different from 25 years ago to now?
Well, that's easy. For me, I was Jillian Hayes 25 years ago, so I was more of a floor player at 5'8". I didn't handle the ball that much. I was rebounding, driving, mid-range, and now I wouldn't have a choice but to be a point guard or maybe a shooting guard at my size, especially with my slightly above average athleticism. So I think that what we've seen happen in the last 20 to 25 years is an increase in athleticism and skill and size and strength and height, and it just has blown up considerably since I played, which I'm actually really proud of.
So you also have the addition of Nia Clark, who came in earlier this summer. Just talk about how that went down, and knowing she has all this level of experience between Marquette and Xavier, and what have you seen from her this summer?
Well, I think it just reinforces the importance of relationships. Right? We recruited Nia when we were at Wright State, and she went to Miami of Ohio, and so here we are 4.5, 5 years later, and she gets in the portal in the last week of August, and we were able to get a lot of things done that allowed her to get into school based on her academic record and everything that she had accomplished with her bachelor's degree and her master's degree. We went to work immediately to make sure that she could get into school and be really comfortable. She has provided that leadership. She clearly didn't think she was going to play for 5 months. So what you're going to see early on is a Nia that's coming into form, a Nia that's going to continuously, week after week, get better conditioned, and more importantly, she'll have more confidence.
Awesome. So my last question for you is, have you prepared for the Bearcats to give you a huge welcome in the home opener since making your return back to Cincinnati?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I think that there's so many things that are overshadowing that are far more important. Opening the game with Louisville again with that stiff competition, opening our first game as a Big 12 team. But I am excited for the people who very well may come back, just because there's some connectivity and familiarity, and we're going to work really hard to put a product on the floor so that they want to come back.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.